What it is, guys, it's your old boy Pilk, and I'm coming at you today with a little bit of a, kind of like a 101 video all over again. Now, we haven't yet talked about unit upgrades. We'll talk about that, and I really wanted to kind of preface this one first, because while unit upgrading is important, I think most of it's fairly intuitive, but the heart and soul of a good team are the weapons. And even when you're going through, before you can really get a ton of bonds for a unit and all that, you want to make sure you're crafting weapons and be aware of the weapons you need for a unit. So I'm going to kind of jump the shark a little bit here and bring you the weapons video before I bring you the unit upgrade video, because once again, I think the unit upgrade video is kind of a little bit self-explanatory. But the weapons, I think weapons are something completely understated and even a little misunderstood. They're not that intuitive. So, let's go back into Arena here, and let's run a War Games real quick. And yes, literally I ran it about 10 minutes ago. So I talked last time about doing auto-equip here. And what auto-equip does, and I was a little upset because the auto-equip gave the Behemoth Dagger to, or Behemoth Sword to Crossbow. Basically, this is just going through and finding the best possible items I have for each unit and giving them to those units. So, King's Blade for Otarl is Otarl's, it's distinctly his weapon. It is his weapon alone. Other people can use it, but they're not going to get the same boosts out of it. Only he will get the best effects from it. Okay? Behemoth Sword is an interesting addition to the game. Basically, the sword gives extra health to the adventurer that's wielding it. He has his own dedicated weapon, and I may not have crafted it, so I think we're going to craft it on this video. And we'll talk about sword crafting and all that stuff. Well, weapon crafting. Okay? But that's auto-equip. Auto-equip will give you basically what it determines are the best items for each one. For me, though, I want to go in here. So I'm going to click and I'm going to hold on Otarl. And it's going to come up with all his information here. I haven't hero ascended him yet. I probably need to. But I'm actually probably going to wait a little longer on that, if I'm honest. I'll talk about that in the hero ascension video. I'm going to go down here to change equip. Now, you can do the level enhanced. You can do the status board here. Again, we're going to talk about those in a separate video. I'm going to go to change equip. Okay? So, I talked in his weapons. So, there's King's Blade. It'll show you here. It'll filter it down to all the ones that he can use. I'm going to give him the... Well, no, that's a magic Behemoth Sword. I'm going to give him the Behemoth Greatsword. Okay? You'll see down here that the effect is... Oh, I'm not going to give that to him. Hold up. What is this King's Blade? Okay, yeah, this King's Blade is level 51. I'm going to keep the King's Blade on him. The Behemoth Sword that I was interested in before... see, it says special. HP 100, HP 100, HP 100. It's a very special item that only came around very rarely. But I'm going to keep the King's Blade on him. Just because... You'll see here. Unit effect. Only Otarl can unlock its true powers. So it's the best item for him. I need to upgrade its level. Unlike characters, the levels for items, they do not upgrade in battle. In fact, the durability you'll see there, he's got an 805 out of 872. The durability actually goes down the more you use it. I've never had an item break. But I'll show you why here in a few minutes. So, special. And only Otarl can unlock its true powers. I kind of understand that as the first critical 15 that it's guaranteed on this. Only unlocks with Otarl. Now, below there you'll see other stats. He's got strength 30, agility 30, and strength plus 10. I would actually kind of like to have this strength 10 to be another crit 15. But having strength 30 and agility 30 is really, really good. Basically, strength adds to the overall physical attacking power of this item. Agility basically is how quickly, how soon in the stack are you going to be attacking. So the higher the agility number, the sooner your attack is going to get off. And he's actually got pretty good agility, so this is really, really good for him. Another strength plus 10, so basically he's got strength 40 on here, which is really awesome. But I would really rather have the critical rate. I just think it's better, in my opinion. And we'll talk about that when we go craft a weapon. Now, the Sendaphalon. I hope I didn't butcher that too badly. This is only for Toka. Toka is actually from the Data Life crossover event. We'll talk about crossovers when we get the next one, but you see she, unit effect, Toka. Only Toka can unlock its true powers, which is that critical 15, the first one beneath it. So no one else gets that. And I haven't even upgraded hers. Shame on me. I'm awful. So hers only has strength 30. So the attributes will change from item to item. Okay? We'll go and we'll craft a weapon and we'll talk about that here in a moment. But know that these are called the attributes. These down here are the attributes. Those up there, the physical attack, durability, and level, that's the status. Okay? Attributes, status. Attributes, status. Get that in your mind, because that gets confusing in a moment. Now I'm going to go to our armor. Now, he has the glorious anklet, and I really don't want that on him. What I want to give him, let's go down here. There's a lot of armors up for grabs here. I'm going to give him the glorious armor. And the reason I'm going to do that is because the glorious armor is like the behemoth weapon. It adds HP. And that's going to add 300 HP to him. It's going to make him a lot more durable. His defense goes down a little bit, but that's okay. It's going to make him last a little bit longer in battle, which is super duper handy. So I'm going to go ahead and give him the glorious anklet again. Show you how I do this one more time. I'm going to go down the list. I'm going to find what I want. Okay, there's lots of breastplates here that are fully upgraded. That wouldn't be a bad choice. Breastplate's one of the best because it's got 15% guard rate, which is super handy. Swift armor actually has a couple different attributes. This one has physical resist plus 8%, so it resists physical attacks. For me, though, I like the glorious armor because it adds that 300 HP, but it doesn't have a lot of the other resistance. But I'm going to add that on there. Otaro just has something that makes that really, really handy, in my opinion. Everyone has a different opinion on that fact, but something that Otaro does makes that really important. We'll get into those things in a separate video. Just know that this is my favorite armor to run him in war games. And actually Record Buster, but I don't generally use him in Record Buster. So, here we go. Now, you see I've got the King's Blade on him, which is what I want. I got the Glorious Blade on him, which is what I want. You'll see all the stats over here added on by the equipment. So, he should hit like an absolute truck, which he does. He's a monster. Okay? Let's go back out. And no, I haven't hero ascended him. I hear all the people that are... all the people that have been playing this game for a while are pulling their hair out right now because I haven't hero ascended him. It's okay. It's alright, y'all. I got a plan. I got a plan. Trust. Trust your boy. And let's go to War Games. Let's see what he does. Let's see what they all do. So Otaro probably has one of the higher agilities. Crozo, I think, is a little higher, so he'll probably get his attack off first. He'll probably go Crozo, Bell. Oh no, Argonaut first, then Bell, and Otaro last. That's only because Otaro isn't hero ascended. He didn't get that extra boost. But as you can see, like, this team just takes fools apart at the seams. So, good equipment is vital. I can't say that enough. Good equipment is absolutely vital to your team. But how do we get equipment? Okay? Really simple. Really, really simple. Go down here to Blacksmith. Remember the last video we said to unlock the Blacksmith, you actually have to get to Bell episode. I'm pretty sure it's 15. I think it's 15. Okay? There's two different ways you can get equipment. You can purchase equipment, which is not good equipment. When you see gold like this, that's a 3-star equipment. Go down further, and you'll see 2-star equipment. Don't bother. I'll be real. Unless you're really, 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 really early in the game, do not bother. Go out here, go to crafting. Okay? Crafting utilizes the items you get both from the events and from doing dispatch quests. Go to weapon, and I am going to look for... I need the one that's actually for Crozo. Okay? So, there's Magic Desperate, Behemoth Sword. Here's the Behemoth Sword I was talking about. If I go into details up there at the top, up to 5 attributes from below can be applied. So, that's all HP. So I could have up to 500 HP per unit. What happens if you craft one and it doesn't give you those? I'll go over that in a moment as well. Okay? Let's go back into weapon, though. And I'm looking for, I think his is a greatsword. I could be wrong. So I can actually go into, I can disable magic because he's not going to, well, I think his are physical. I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure Grozo's are physical. And I'm going to go and turn off all these. And I'm going to go specifically to, come on, turn off. I'm going to go specifically to Longsword. Everybody has their different weapon that they use. That's his. Okay. Bright Moon. There we go. So this is Crozo's specific weapon. If I go to details, or Crozo. I'm sorry. I keep calling him Crozo. Crozo. This is Crozo's specific weapon. Only Crozo can unlock its true powers. Critical rate 15. So I believe, unless I'm mistaken, that critical rate 15 is only when it's applied to Crozo and only available when he is basically when he's wielding it. Plus he gets certain extra like boosts from it the other units don't get. Now, it says down here, up to 3 attributes from below can be applied. This is what I was talking to before. So Strength 30 and Agility 30 are the two I really, really, really want. And then, if I had my preference, I'd love to get another critical rate, 15%. That would be my preference, but I don't really get a say in this. It's all random. Okay? It could give me 1, it could give me 2, it could give me 3. So, if I go back to special here, it'll tell you physical attack could be anywhere from 190 to 230. Obviously, I'm aiming for 230, but we don't get much say in it. Durability is 850 to 950, and then stock tells us how many we have, so we don't have any of these at all. You only really need 1. Sometimes recrafting is actually better than rehammering, but we'll talk about that in a moment too. So, Crozo's sword named Bright Moon provides his prowess both as a craftsman and as a swordsman. So, what we're looking for is we are looking for right here. We're looking for Strength 30, Agility 30, and Critical 15. That's just what I want. So I'm going to go to Craft. Oh, and the other thing to bear in mind, these are the items you have to have. Gold Ore and Flaring Stone. Flaring Stone you're actually going to get from the current events. I have more than enough. And Gold Ore you get from dispatches and some of the crafting quests. So, just be aware of that. We'll talk about crafting quests in a minute. So I'm going to click Craft. It's going to cost me 100,000, monies. And I'm not worried about that because I have plenty of monies. By this point in the game, you'll have plenty of monies too. So I got critical rate 15, which is what I asked for. Physical attack is 203 and durability is 883. I'm not gonna do that quite yet. So I'm gonna go back down here. So Bright Moon, we got 203 out of 230. We got 883 out of 950, which is abysmal. And we only got 1. Just 1 of the special attributes. Oof. Okay. So, there's a couple things you can do here. Well, 3 things technically, but only 2 you really... Well, we'll talk about them all. So, if I don't like the attributes that my item has, I can go in here to rehammer. And remember I talked about there's a difference between status and attributes? Status, if I go all the way down here to the... Let me filter this one more time. We'll do physical, and we'll do the longsword. Like I said, each unit has a different type of... Or not each unit. Not everyone has a different type of item, but you can see there's 9 different categories of weapon in the game. And then there's physical weapons and magic weapons. So, yeah. That's really all you need to know. So, Bright Moon here says, I have 5 secret hammers. I can actually rehammer my status and maybe get better stats out of it. So physical attack 203, it'll tell me here. So I'm going to click. You have to have these secret hammers to do this. Secret hammers actually come only from dispatch quests, which I know we haven't talked about yet, but we'll talk about those here towards the end in just a vague amount of detail. Okay? Rehammer. Alright? It'll say I could have anywhere between 190 to 230. I'm like almost dead center in that. Actually a little on the low side. Durability is 883, and I'm on the definite low side of that. So there's no harm in rehammering this. No harm at all. Okay? What I'd really like to do is I'd like to see this turn from the amber color into the rainbow color. That means I'm actually getting really good stats out of it. Now, it's completely random. The stats go up, the stats go down. I'm just on the side where the stats have a better chance of going up than going down. Okay? So now I'm 226 and 939. And that was... So I got good stats now. My stats are actually very respectable. I could get greedy and go for better, but I'm not going to. Get out of here. That shouldn't pop up. I apologize. So I could get greedy. I could go for better. But there's really not a huge amount of... It's not going to make that much difference if I honestly do. So... 4 physical attack isn't something I'm going to lose sleep over. It's not going to change anything. Once again, I could probably rehammer this 5 or 6 times before I even get super lucky and get the rainbow. Rainbow basically during rehammering means you're getting max stats. Now, rainbowing during crafting happens. That could either mean you're getting max stats or you're getting maximum attributes. It's hard to tell. It's not impossible to tell. But, yeah. That's the thing. I kind of stick to rehammering as kind of my go-to. Now, I could always craft another one and see what I get, but at this point, since my status is so high, unless the attributes are actually abysmal, there's no point. My attributes actually are not great, so let's take a look at it. So we go back out here. Remember, we've got, in the rehammering screen, we've got status and we've got attributes. I'm going to click on attributes. Okay, and I'm going to go back down here to the bright moon. Just actually now moved up a slot because it's a little higher. That's actually handy. So, I need 5 Mystic Bellows to rehammer that, and I have 4. So I'm going to hold off on rehammering, if I'm honest. Basically what rehammering does is it'll go down here and it'll change these. So all that stuff that we saw earlier, I really wish I had the 1 Mystic Bellow, and I know... I wonder if my dispatch quests have come in. It's a good time to talk about dispatch quests. I wonder if they've come in yet. So if we go to... There's 2 ways to get there. There's through the quest screen here. And dispatch. And dispatch quests. Okay. Let's see. Underneath. Seems like ore can be mined. Great success. Basically what dispatch quests are... Okay. So I got 2 Iris and a hero falling out of that. That's spectacular. Basically what dispatch quests are, they're little like side quests you can do to see if you can get just extra items. It's another way to basically to mine items in the game. The problem with dispatch quests is they require you have a lot of units and a lot of beefy units. So as great as it is, yeah, it's you're probably not going to be able to do very, very well until later on in the game. I'll make my own video about it. Oh, okay, we got a hammer. I wanted a bellows. Let's see. Lower floor materials, maybe. Come on, give me a Mystic Bellows. No. We're getting Iris out of it, which is good. So that was actually, those were all crafting materials for different weapons in the game. So that's super handy. Okay. Can we get a Mystic Bellows out of this? No. Great. And the only way to get him is actually through dispatch quests. So I'm sitting here right now like, you know, what am I going to do? I'm going to have to wait a few days before I can actually change the attributes on this item. So once again, go back in here and go by... Since I'm working on Crossbows. Oh, okay. So I didn't do it specifically to physical, so it's got the magic units in here too. So that M Behemoth Greatsword, that's a magic item. I would give that to units that are specifically magic, and give the other ones to units that are specifically physical. We'll talk. Well, okay. The way to tell if a unit is magic or physical, they'll basically tell you. But Bright Moon here, I really want to rehammer it because I'm not happy with the attributes. So in this situation, it actually might be, I can go up here one more time. I've got the items. You probably will not, since this is a 101 level, I'm assuming you probably do not have the items to recraft it. For me, I actually do, so I'm going to give this another shot. Now again, my status is so good on that other one, it's kind of a crapshoot. It's kind of probably not the best move, but it's what I'm going to do anyway. So let's do Bright Moon, and let's do one more crafting and see if we can get something good out of this. I really want to see this turn rainbow, but it rarely does. It's extremely rare. Alright. So thanks, game. Thanks. No, I'm done. I'm done. GG. No. No. I see what you're doing there, and I don't appreciate it. So that was strength 10. That's abysmal. I'm basically going to be selling that item. Okay. So that's all weapons. You can actually go over here to armor and do exactly the same thing. There's just a handful of types of armor, if I'm honest. I don't use the coats anymore because they really, in my opinion, don't do a whole lot. See, they increase your... this one increases your dark resistance. The coats are basically for your resistance to specific types of entities. So, like, some of the enemies will be dark types, some of the enemies will be light types, some enemies will be earth, wind, etc., etc., etc. So you've got different things you can do. So, like, the Holy Coat will probably be light resistance. Yep, light resistance. Frost Coat is probably water resistance. There you go. Earth Coat, Flame Coat, pretty straightforward. Now, I don't use the coats. I legitimately have none of the coats. I stick almost exclusively to Breastplate. Breastplate is fantastic because you can get up to 3 of these attributes. And once again, you can still rehammer it and get that. Guard rate 15%, agility 30, and endurance 20. Those are the ones that I really want out of my breastplates. Swift armor is another one you've seen recently, and I do like it a lot because it almost always gives you physical resist plus 8%. That's super handy because you have some units that disable guard. If you have a unit that disables, if you're up against somebody that disables guard, they still can't get past the physical resist if they're a physical type. I believe Paladin Armor is exactly the same thing, but for magic, there are units that are magic types, and you want to use this. So it says their increased magic, all elements resist by 8%. So a magic unit will lose 8% of their power when they're hitting you. That's super handy. Glorious Armor is the one I was talking about before, up to 5 attributes, just like the Behemoth weapons. And I could have up to 500 HP more if I want. That's a more recent addition. Glorious Anklet. I've talked about this before. This is mostly used for Record Buster. It will only add 1 attribute to this. In fact, let's craft one right now and see what they do, because you can never have too many Glorious Anklets. Okay. Oh, we're getting a rainbow. There's a rainbow. Okay, awesome. So defense and durability are now max stats. I'm just going to interject here real quick because I feel like my explanation here wasn't as good as it could be. Basically, when you get a rainbow like this, it's telling you that either your status or your attributes, in this case it's going to be status because the attributes don't really change on this unit, it's telling me that in this case the status, the defense and the durability, are at absolute maximum stats. Whenever you're crafting a weapon like this and you get a rainbow, you want to check to see which one of those, sometimes both, but rarely, either the status or the attributes are at their maximum settings. In other words, you'll get a rainbow if you can get up to 3 attributes and you get all 3. That doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get the 3 you want, but that just means you got all 3. With the status, if it goes rainbow and you check it in its max stats, that's it. You can't rehammer that. Those statuses are good. And you wouldn't want to rehammer the status anyway at that point. There's just no point. So rainbow is good. Doesn't necessarily mean it's 100% what you want, but it is extremely good and it's extremely lucky. So it's more often you get this when you're actually rehammering items, though. So do be aware of that. But that's kind of what this was. In this case, I got maximum stats because, once again, like I said, the attributes on this thing never change. So that's just a little short explanation of what I didn't really properly communicate earlier. And it says poison resist plus 100%. So that's an example of how the rainbow works. Okay, I'm not going to add that to anybody currently. But it's going to give me 100% poison resist at all times. My unit will not get poisoned, which is actually handy for war games, because right now, war games, a lot of people are using poison. So it's a great way to throw a strong item onto somebody to stop them from hurting you. It's very, very, very handy. Basically, poison is literally what you would think it is. Literally, somebody is like using poison gas to kill your enemy, or to kill your unit slowly. There is, let's go back to details here. So, there's poison resist, stun resist. Literally, they can stun you. It's usually for one turn. I don't find that to be a huge deal. Sleep resist, which isn't all that much different than stun, but it's a thing. It basically stops you from being able to do attacks, and that can actually go in for multiple turns, I believe. Seal resist stops you from using basically any type of attack that is a special attack. You just use very basic attacks. Seal resist is brutal. Or sealing is brutal. Taunt resist. Taunt disables your ability to use an attack all. Basically, whenever a taunt comes up, you'll see like a target go over whoever's doing the taunt. It stops you from using an attack all attack. Whoever he taunts is now going to use a singular attack only on that unit. So taunt is pretty broken in some situations. Charm resist. Charm resist basically is Pokemon confusion. You're now attacking your team. And slow resist is pretty straightforward. It basically reduces your agility. So glorious anklets have their uses, but it's mostly record buster. And that's really honestly where you're going to use the most. The other thing to talk about here is smelting and upgrade. Okay? So let's go upgrade the Crossbow weapon that we had crafted before. Okay? I'm going to go down here and go to Longsword. Upgrade's pretty straightforward, and smelting is actually built into it as kind of its own thing. So here's the Bright Moon, and you'll see its level is 1 out of 40. Well, that's not good enough. That's not good enough at all. Oh, oof. I may have to go get some items here. Okay. That's easy peasy. Let's do that. Okay. The way to get crafting items, you saw I got a couple out of the dispatch quest, but if I'm honest and real with myself, the best way to do it is through the events. We talked about events last time, event exchange. Go to the event exchange here. I'm going to go down to, there we are. We'll need some Smelting Stones. We'll talk about that. So I need whetstones. So I'm going to grab all these whetstones. I'm going to max those out. Those are the large ones. Large are exceptionally limited. And it sucks. It sucks drastically. Okay, I'm going to take that because I need those 800. Okay, and small whetstones. I could wipe them out of small whetstones right now and no one would care. In fact, I'm just going to do it. Boom, 531. Bam. It's like my number one use for small items, if I'm honest. So, there you go. Now, those are your items for upgrading. So let's go back to Blacksmith. Let's go to Upgrade. Let's go to Weapon. And let's go back to Physical and Longsword. Okay. So, Bright Moon is what we're looking at. So I'm going to click on Upgrade. And I could probably max that out. The quickest way to do this, in my opinion, let me just reset all of these. I'm going to use one of the large, one of the medium, just click the plus buttons to get one, and then I'm going to max out the rest here on the low side, because I've got 1,000 of those in such a limited quantity of these. So I'm going to click max. It tells me I need 88 of those. It tells you the difference in power between them all. Okay? And then click upgrade. It'll tell you how much Valis you need. It's a couple. It's like 22,000 Valis. Not losing sleep over that. All right. Upgrade success. The one thing I do want to tell you, if you've already been doing unit upgrades and you've seen great success and all that, you know you get change for it. You don't here. So if you get great success, super success, etc., they do not give you back your whetstones. Yeah, disappointing to me too, but it's a thing. All right, so I now have my unit level 40. But wait, that's not maxed out. We saw before, like, the armor that I was using was level 59 out of 60. Well, how do you fix that? Right down here, you see it changed from upgrade to smelt? Click on smelt. Okay? This takes you to that smelting screen we saw out there. There's two ways to basically do this. Go to upgrade. Alright, so there's basically two ways to do this. We were in upgrade screen before. We can go to smelting right here. And it'll do the same thing. Now I do have to go back in and let's play a little elevator music. Hey, right on cue. Though I'm pretty sure, never mind. That place in an elevator, things are gonna get steamy pretty quick. Alright. Oh, that's the other bright moon. We want this bright moon. Okay. So the smelt screen comes up right down there when we're getting ready to smelt this. Okay? You see, it changes the level. Basically, it goes from a 4-star item to a 5-star item. Just like your unit upgrades. And again, I know I haven't touched unit upgrades yet. I will talk about those, but I think this is slightly more important. Only because I think you can do this a little earlier. So, we're going to click smelt. It requires a certain number of smelting stones. And once again, I do not have enough smelting stones. Surprise. So, to do that, I'm going to go back to event exchange. Boom. Doesn't matter which part of the event you click on, just any part will do. And I'm going to go to the exchange, and I'm going to go down to smelting stones, and I'm going to grab a few smelting stones. Once again, I'm going to grab all the large as I can because I need those desperately. But if I'm honest, medium are what I run out of more often than not. So I'm going to be grabbing quite a few medium stones. I really don't want to run myself out down here. It's just a farm. So I had a plan for all that, and now I'm not going to be able to do it. Oof. So now I'm at exchange items. I got to go do some more farming. So, once again, we're going to go back to blacksmith. We're going to go back to smelting. We're going to go back to weapon. We're going to filter this down. I haven't changed it to... It's pretty obvious what we're doing here. The best part about this is the unit that is upgraded the most, that is the most likely to be smelted, will always be at the top. So, like, this bright moon is here at the bottom. I should have known better than to click on it, because it's level 1 and it doesn't need smelting yet. Bright moon's up there. If an item is completely upgraded, it will not show up here. So this great sword I had, I can actually smelt that to level 50. I haven't. We're going to do bright moon first, because it's most important to me. It's the one we've been working on. Click on smelting. I need 5 medium stones, 5 small stones. I've got 26 mediums and 293 large. So we click yes. Smelting success. Perfect. Hold up. That button just changed to upgrade. We immediately go right back to the upgrade screen. Okay? I'm going to max this out. So what I'm going to do here to save myself a little bit of headache, I'm going to use 5 of these and 1 of these. Try not to wipe myself out because I'm so low on all these. Upgrade success. That's absolutely perfect. That's that situation where if I'd gotten a great success, it would have been absolutely the best, but not so lucky. I'll probably get it here. Oh no, upgrade success. There we go. Bada bing, bada boom. Now one more time, I smelt. So, we're back to smelting. And it requires 10, 10, and 3. So it's a good thing I bought all those, even though it was extraordinarily expensive. As you can see, using the events that we talked about in the previous 101 video, to farm smelting stones is so worth it. I just wish we got more larges. Also using dispatch quest, but again, we'll talk about that in its own video because dispatch quest has its own weird nuance. Alright, so this is as high as I can go. I cannot smelt it any further. It will be 6-star until they change that in the game. Okay? If you're watching this a year from now, we probably have 7 stars. Or, man, it would be great. What if they gave us, like, they gave us basically, like, the dupe system that we have for the other units for the upgrades. Make you craft more weapons to feed in? That would be awesome. Dear DanMachi, pay attention. So, we're now level 50 out of 60. Well, once again, the unit that's most likely to be fed is down here at the bottom. So, I think that's my Bright Moon. That's level 1. Where did my Bright Moon go? Hold up. Oh, you know what I did? I didn't click. If I had clicked on upgrade, it would have gone back to the upgrade screen. So I got to go back out here and manually go into upgrade. That's cool. If I had hit the upgrade button, it would have automatically gone back to upgrade, but it didn't. All right. So there's my level 50 Bright Moon. That's the one we just did. Remember, the most likely to be upgraded is right there at the top. Bada bing, bada boom. Upgrade. And let's see if we can do this. I'm going to max that out. I'm going to give the... You know what? I'm just going to use the small ones because they're so easy to come by. So that gives us up to level 53. I was really hoping for a super success there. Level 56. Ooh, we gotta get rid of that number. And super success. So now we're level 60. Okay, that's perfect. That's absolutely perfect. Because remember, like, when you upgrade units, that super success is going to give you change. Unless I got no change for it. I should have gotten back a few of them, and I didn't. I'm not losing sleep because they're so easy to come by. What sucks is when you don't get mediums or larges back, because they're really hard to come by. Really hard to come by. So, pretty much that's how that works, guys. Now I have a level 60 Bright Moon for Crozo. So once again, if I go back into Arena, I go back into War Games. I'm going to loop back around to the beginning. Go to Join War Games. Yes, I've already hit 3 defeats. War Games is brutal. I'm going to make a whole Dear War Games, stop being so GD brutal video here in a little bit. Remember the auto-equip button we used at the beginning? It's going to make a lot more sense now. We're going to loop back around. Okay? I'm going to use default status for both armor and weapon. See, and if you say ailment resist, that actually gives them one of the anklets that we talked about earlier. So, for armor, I could do defensive ability, but I'm going to go default status. Well, yeah, I'm going to do defensive ability, just change things up. Attack ability won't do any good with armor. I don't even know why it's there. So, that's the thing. Okay? Apply. Let's see what it changes. Alright. So, the hell did it give him the glorious armor? What? Okay, so defensive ability, it gave my number 1 unit the glorious armor, which is not what I wanted to do. That's a thing. Do I have 2 glorious armors? Apparently I have 2 glorious armors. That's a thing. And what's interesting is while the defenses went up, I'm sure their HP is a little bit higher. But you see, it changed Crozo from where he was at before to Bright Moon. Okay? And look at his physical attack. It's way up. Way up. So, that's going to increase things right there. Though, I'm going to go in here one more time. Do I really have a glorious armor for him? I didn't think I did. Let's go to change equip. Thought I only had 1. I apparently have 2. But see, it's level 140, or level 1 out of 40? Nah. No. Where's the breastplate? This is a good breastplate. That one probably has pretty decent stats. Endurance and dex. His dex is already high as hell, so I'm going to do that. Normally, I'd want to go with a breastplate. That's endurance 1030. See, like, this one has guard rate 15%. That's really what I want to see, but that's fine. We'll do endurance on this one. Look at that. The defenses go up by like 150. So for that... that was not a very good setup game. I don't know why you did that, but here we go. Just doing a little micromanagement of my items here. And for my main bell here, as you can see, he's maxed out. I'm going to get the glorious armor off of him because that is not going to benefit him. I mean, His HP is already 4,000 before we apply anything else from anybody else, so he doesn't need more HP. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that. So I'm going to change equipment. And see, for the beginning of the game, this probably didn't make a lot of sense, but now that you're starting to see how this works, hopefully it's really starting to make sense. Alright, so I'm going to steal this. That's guard rate 15%. Level 60, what's this? Alright. So apparently I need to rehammer a few breastplates. That's okay. So we're going to equip that and take that from Otarl. Because remember, I want on Otarl, I want that glorious anklet and or glorious armor. And the reason I do, let's go back in here. If I go into his status, remember we talked about taunt? Foes, 25% taunt. So literally, what he's doing is when he gets that attack off, 25% of the time, 25% of the units technically per hit on each unit, because I believe it's a reroll per unit. 25% of those, so usually at least one person on the board is going to be taunted. They will now target him. They will not get AoE attacks. He's now tanking. So we want to give him the ability to do the most tanking. In my calculation, and again, I could be completely off my rocker on this, if I give him... He's got his Kingsblade, which I do need to upgrade. You'll see... After seeing this, you're going to look at his Kingsblade and go, why is it level 51? Well, that's because I'm going to fix it after this video. If I give him the Glorious Armor, wherever the heck it is, boom! And I do need to give the Glorious Armor one more level. I just haven't done it. And its defense probably could be better. I don't know what its max defenses are. But to have that extra HP is pretty important. If I could rehammer that up to... The problem is it requires 25 of the bellows. Like, everything else requires 5. That armor requires 25 of the bellows to upgrade. So it's like, twitch. Okay, I got you, fam. I see what you did there. So, now, though, I've got the best stats on him. Let's go back into him one more time. I have the Kingsblade and the Glorious Armor, exactly what I want. I've got him set up, so I did all that work to do the auto, and then negated everything the auto did. Let's go to War Games. Boom. And we should be able to do much better now that we've got Crozo's stuff maxed out. Let's see how bad Crozo hits. So I think he's the first attacker. He is. And his first hit, remember, when you're attacking, the first hit usually is the one that's buffing the team. So the fact that turn 2, we don't even have buffs on everybody yet, and we've just wiped him out. So, yeah, Crozo's disgusting. Bada bing, bada boom, we are done with that fight. So, yeah, that's... And Otar didn't even have time to get a taunt off. That was much cleaner. I like that better when he has his weapon. So, that's weapons, guys. If you have any questions, put them down in the comments section down below. I believe I covered everything. You know what I didn't cover? You know what I absolutely did not cover? I didn't cover... Oop, that's not what I wanted to. I did not cover durability. Okay? Repair. What I do is, like, usually like once every other week or something like that, I come in here, go to weapons, and then I just click repair all. It says, okay, it's going to cost you a little less than 100,000. Forget about it. Now everything's fixed. Go into armor. So you see that, like, it'll tell you here, this breastplate's durability is down 656 out of 850. That's 510. This glorious armor's probably seen better days. Oh, it's only 695. That's not too bad. So... yeah, this just shows you the details on it. So basically, what you're doing is you're repairing the armor. Now, armors can get down to 0. Armors and weapons can get down to 0. Supposedly they can break. I've never seen one break. And there will be a pop-up that will warn you when that happens. But for me, every once in a while I just come in here, repair all, cost me nothing, and then repair is now complete. Now, nothing needs to be repaired. my durability is up there. Just make that part of your normal maintenance. Like once a week, come in, spend 100k Valis, which sounds like a lot but isn't, and then just do that. And keep up with your crafting, because sometimes there are special units that get special weapons, like the one we did for Crossbow. Usually when that happens, there are rewards that will give you like Hero Fallen and stuff like that for it. And remember, you can filter this out by the type of weapon that is used. If you need, you can go to character. It'll tell you the different weapons they can use. So like legit, Mikoto, she can do anything. She doesn't care. Like she is incredibly versatile. She is awesome in that regard, which is amazing because she actually is. I wonder if we're going to see that in the new anime. Okay, Chigusa's the same way. Oka's the same way. Some of these units are very finicky. Tsubaki's the same way. Hermes, interestingly, is the same way. That's weird. Hermes is the man. Whatever. So it'll tell you what each character can use, and that's kind of awesome. Man, Artemis is pretty good, too. Argonaut is basically anything with a blade, except katanas, because I guess he's a... Anyway. He's like, I will not be seen as a weeb. This just gives you basically the breakdown. Man, Kino can do everything. That's crazy. And that's another interesting point. So we start to get now into the crossover units. So like Mikasa from the Attack on Titan crossover, Eren and Levi, they all have very specific, like we talked about the crossover for Toka. They all have very specific. I wonder if I can still even craft it since I went through that event. That's a good question. That's a really good question. I'm going to find out real quick because I don't remember. It may not be available, but I don't know. I don't know. Easiest way to find out. What was their item? It was just a regular sword. So, boom. Boom, boom, boom. I know they're not. I'll keep both. It might be considered magic. And you get spear out of there. Boom. Alright. So these are all the swords. So once again, like, Magic Desperate is a... So Desperate is for eyes. It's even on screen. I don't know why I couldn't read that. Oh, it's not. Details. Desperate is specific to eyes. So the weapon's durability is not decreased, which is awesome. Awesome. You don't have to worry about it at all. There's a few of these that do. Eyes is one. The Hesti knife is another, etc., etc. But you'll see in this magic attack is up there. I probably have a few of those I need to rehammer the attributes on, but or the status on, but that's a whole other thing. But when it says magic like this, or has M dot, like with the Behemoth Sword up there, that only works for units that do magic. And you'll see that instead of P attack, it says M attack. So if we go down here a little further, I don't know if I can. No, okay. So, I cannot craft the items for the Attack on Titan units anymore, even though I've gone through it. So that is something to be aware of. If we're in something with a limited time, like right now, this current event, once they're gone, they're gone. So you need to make sure you're paying good, close attention to this. I'm starting to get a little on the wordy side with this kind of stuff, but, you know, once again, let's filter this down by boom, boom. Actually, I'm going to do magic because some of them are magic units. Boom, 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 boom. All right. So here's the ODM gear for Levi. So the 3D maneuver gear for Levi, you'll see this is physical attack 277. This I cannot craft anymore, but now that I have it, I can do upgrades, I can rehammer it and do all that stuff. So when we're in events where you get this kind of stuff and it's one-off, like we're never going to see those crossover events again. Crossover events do not come back. So when we have these specialized things, you need to pay attention. You need to make sure you craft this. Work hard to craft it because you never know. It probably will give you, if not Iris, at least Hero Fauna. So, that's the thing. So hopefully all this makes sense to you guys. Hopefully, like, beginning where it kind of sounded like jargon by now, hopefully you're starting to see kind of the benefits of this. that is going to be the video, guys. So let me know in the comments section down below. Was this helpful? Did you appreciate this? Did this work out for you? Let me know, guys. Follow the Birdman. Hit me up on Booker. I'll be back with more DanMachi 101 in just a little bit.